Because the delay throws me big time.
2, 1, here we go. And I think we're now live. Welcome everyone to our Around the World, where we've got some great user stories on how FME is helping users across the globe. My name is Darren Fergus, and for everybody's benefit, I'm a certified professional in server, desktop, and certified trainer. And I've got today with me my colleague Pip Norris, who's also server and desktop certified. So with respect to the presentations, I'll be doing the first 2, and Pip will do the last 2. And yeah, hopefully that makes a bit of sense. The following stories were selected with the hopes to help inspire everyone here today, to help you get a better understanding of really the diverse nature of FME, and really importantly, the infinite number of use cases with respect to how you can use FME to solve your problems within your organization. So up first, and taking me back to bonnie Scotland, we've got North Ayrshire Council. It's funny, I always feel like I need to talk a little bit more Scottish to do the right job with how you say it. But what were they looking to do? So North Ayrshire, a local government council in Scotland, leveraged FME to streamline their human resources operations. And yeah, this is their story. Like with all councils, typically there's a lot of data to manage, and if you add into that a workforce of around 8,000 odd, people, then it's really not just about managing the data, but it's also about managing the people, which is quite a huge operational undertaking. So if you think about that for a moment, managing persons within a large council from the moment they're employed, changing roles, moving department, when they decide to leave, or perhaps they just retire. There are actually a lot of important processes involved in managing that life cycle of personnel, such as allocation of equipment, issuing technical licenses, granting security access, updating the staff directory, and more. So like in summary, these processes involve many different departments, and ultimately those departments depend on the communication between them to ensure that all the above responsibilities are being met. For me, that sounds like a lot of hard work, if you ask me. So there's no surprises, with respect to what their biggest problem was. Council information was not consistent, and it was not accessible as it could be. And, that's probably like a real high level summary of, the problems associated with the specific project. Jimmy, going to take your word for that one, right? Yeah, sorry, that's a Scottish thing. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, so what did they do? They wanted to centralize and enrich their existing data sets to streamline these processes with the main goal of delivering better value to their employees. The key to this was reducing the amount of paperwork involved with each employee, a new central database that could link to other management applications like Microsoft Office 365 and Salesforce. And importantly, the solution required was not to have any relying on coding. So in other words, developers, see you later, hasta la vista, baby. So ultimately, they wanted to be agile and flexible, to the future changes within the organization. So how they got there? Using enterprise integration, they leveraged their existing FME licenses, which is always a good place to start. They worked closely with their safe software partner to receive private training and support. And look, from my point of view here, training and support is such a massive thing. You're just thinking about it, you're creating people within an organization that have capability, and not just for this project, for other projects. So that's a really good process there. They also traded Python for FME node code interface. So they're removing the ability to require developers and all the problems associated with that in the long term and the management of that. They also made the solution dynamic, so FME automatically triggers when certain events occur, such as hiring a new member within the organization. And then, of course, that leads on to all the required data that's triggered from that specific process. So the final benefit, now North Ayrshire enjoys increased operational efficiency. It's empowered its employees, improved security, and there's a reduction in paperwork and administrative tasks, which ultimately helps save them time and money. So a big shout out to One Spatial for sharing that story. So thank you very much, folks. Oops, sorry, I was out of sync on my slides there. Apologies. Right, so VisiMind. A big thanks to Globema for this submission. So VisiMind helped the Polish power grids get a detailed overview of their utility assets by creating a geospatial database through the integrating of data from Polish power grids. Where they started, VisiMind are headquartered in Sweden, specifically Stockholm, and they were founded in 1997. And look, they specialize in detecting risks and the monitoring and documenting of utility infrastructure. So what was required? In this instance, Polish Power Grids, or PSE for short. I really struggled to say PSE. I keep wanting to say PSA. Anyway, they were required to collect data for thousands of kilometers of power lines and over 100 different power stations. And it was imperative that the requirements for this project would allow them to, PSE that is, to be able to view all their assets with a high resolution of detail so that they could better be informed in both their decision making and safety. Where they wanted to go, VisiMind wanted to be able to serve this high resolution data back to PSE as a variety of products. These products would allow PSE to see all their data and assets with much greater levels of detail, ultimately empowering them to make the best decisions. However, the challenge, and always challenges with these things, there was a massive amount of data to deliver, 10 terabytes of it, both spatial and non-spatial. They were also needed to provide specific data types via the delivery, such as point clouds, digital terrain models, digital surface models, and orthophoto maps, etc. VisiMind also knew that the data would be more valuable if it was integrated into a geospatial database that provided detailed inventory of roads, buildings, power lines, electric equipment, and more. And this was a lot of data to collect and integrate in a short amount of time. So how did they do it? Well, for starters, VisiMind needed some form of data integration software that could not only handle the different spatial and non-spatial formats, but it could speed up processing, offer scalability, provide full automation, and importantly, could be used by non-programmers, all while being able to prioritize data quality. Data quality and detail was hugely important, and of course it is in many organizations, but poor data quality, especially with the utility company, can really lead to concerns for safety within those utilities. So ultimately, the researching of data integration tools, it led them to FME, understanding it was the best because it had this great ability, for integration of spatial data. It involved no code, and it was the only product they found that could actually meet a multitude of their requirements. They acquired FME through the official distributor of the FME platform in Poland, Globema, where Globema also provided FME training, which allowed them to quickly be able to implement FME across the whole team. Big benefits are FME now provides full automation, and in turn, this reduces the work time process for the spatial products. Not only were they able to deliver everything, they were able to do it in a much faster manner than if they hadn't had FME. So data processing time, for example, has been massively reduced. The ortho maps completed in 25 hours instead of 800. I mean, that's pretty massive, actually. Checking photo completeness happened in 5 hours instead of 100. Lastly, they were able to convert and harmonize all their data for import into their geospatial database, which importantly achieved the high accuracy and detail that they wanted. Cool. So I'm just going to pass you over to Pip now. And Pip, when you're ready, you can take off and do your two.
Thanks, Darren. So you can, slides. There we go. So next we're off to America and England with a story from IHS Markit, who carried out migration with large amounts of data to the cloud. IHS Markit is an American-British company that provides data integration for clients to generate new intelligence and insight within their markets and industries. They have 50,000 customers in over 140 countries, 80% of which are in the Fortune Global 500. Their data is used to isolate risk and opportunities in new ways that empowers their customers to make confident, well-informed decisions. At the heart of it, the story is all about data, and IHS understand that making decisions based off data is the key to success for them and their clients. With 50,000 clients depending on their data, that's a lot of data formats and a lot of data. So how much data to be exact? 1.5 billion rows. This huge data migration was carried out as they decided to move from their current platform Denodo and into Snowflake, a cloud service provider. It was critical that their data quality was maintained as it was used by their staff for business intelligence, and that the migration was carried out as fast as possible, while also being cost efficient. To carry out the migration, FME server was chosen and quickly deployed on Kubernetes. Using CPU time pricing or dynamic engines, they were able to spin up multiple engines to enable parallel processing, so they were only paying for a number of processing hours being used, keeping their costs low. It took 5 hours to carry out the migration to Snowflake, and now that data is stored in the cloud, it is readily available for their BI users to keep providing amazing results for their clients. Our last story comes from Norway. We've all seen the impact of COVID-19 around the world, and the Central Norway Regional Health Authority saw an opportunity and used FME to help develop a geographical tool that assisted healthcare workers in their response against COVID-19. In 2020, when COVID-19 was starting out, the Central Norway Regional Health Authority was in the same position as the rest of the world. As COVID-19 progressed rapidly, authorities were racing to respond. It was noticed that there was a major geographic impact and that there was data available to them that could possibly help them make better informed decisions. Recognizing the potential of data associated with COVID-19, they essentially wanted to become data-driven and use the data to be better prepared. In partnership with hospitals, Central Norway decided they wanted to use the geographic data to create a forecasting tool that could estimate outbreak locations, the current number of hospital patients, and give a prognosis for new hospital patients, including those requiring intensive care. So how did they do this? Application integration using FME helped to develop a dashboard that could display all their desired information on a map. With FME continuously integrating updated COVID-19 data between several APIs provided by health authorities and ArcGIS Online services, these were used in behind the dashboard. The developed workspaces run daily to keep the information in ArcGIS Online up to date, creating a better basis for planning how they would allocate resources. FME made it quick and easy to develop integration between the different APIs and ArcGIS Online services, which run smoothly and are easy to maintain. Best of all, health authorities now have a better basis for planning where and how to allocate resources in the Central Norway region. So wrapping up our trip around the world today, we've seen some interesting use cases from centralizing HR data to creating a geospatial database, migrating huge amounts of data, and using data to make life-saving decisions. The common thread through all these stories is that sometimes you don't know how you are going to get there, but you know where you want to go. Each of these companies started with a vision. They knew where they wanted to go, which led them to finding a tool and resources to help them get there. So the question we want to leave you with today is, where is your dream destination? What could you do to make your job easier? And what information could help you make better decisions? What applications do you want to be able to integrate? It starts with asking these questions. You don't need to know exactly how you're going to get there, because that's where FME comes in. You've seen today how FME is such a versatile tool, from everything to geospatial data and beyond, and it can take you wherever you want to go. There are a ton of resources available to you, as well as to help you get to your desired result. So that's pretty much it. Darren, are you still there?
I'm still here, of course. I'm not going to leave you on your own. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Fionng's got a question here. I was wondering why we don't use FME for our COVID management and health workers. This is a great idea, a great summary. But look, I think it's a little bit like this, Fionng. I always say this to people: if you can imagine a problem, right, or if you have a problem, like, I almost feel like, who are you going to call? And it's really FME. I think the question is, just because you can, and I mean this, like, just because you can use FME doesn't necessarily mean you should use it. You always have to go through, like, an understanding of what the problem is, a validation of, what other things are available. It might be you've got something in organization, you could just do this without no development, right? So again, just because you can use FME doesn't necessarily mean you can do it. However, that being said, guaranteed, what you should be doing, every single problem that you get within your organization, you go, actually, could I use FME to solve that problem, right? How would it fit in? How would I do that, right? And you might not actually get around to doing and solving it with FME, but having a think about that and the processes just helps you open up a whole load of ideas around just actually how you can implement FME when it's the right time to be able to do that, and for the right project to be able to do that. And look, for myself, like I mean, most people know me now. I'm a massive advocate for FME. We talked about Fyong. Actually, you were in the Lamborghini experience that we did. So for everybody's benefit, if you haven't seen them already, go and watch the trailer with Fyong. It was a lot of fun, right? Accelerating the Lamborghini. But the real story behind is that actually the ExtremeX booking system, in everything done, right? Like, I'm just one person and I run the supercar experience. Everything done, right, at a complete enterprise level is done with FME, right? FME server integrates with Google Drive, integrates with my website, integrates with MYOB, my Google Calendar, emails, etc. People put in a request for what booking they want. It goes and puts that in the calendar, sends a request out to the customer. I use Google Forms that are all automated and trigger workspaces to run, that goes and updates information, like if a booking's changed or if it's now confirmed from when it wasn't confirmed. FME even generates gift vouchers. Right, it takes dynamic information that comes through, customer name, what their message is, and it goes and builds a gift voucher, uploads it to OneDrive, and then I can provide that to the customer, right? And the really, really cool thing, which is one of the things that we did recently, which is where this idea came around actually about, filming the experience inside the cars, is, I use FME, and we utilize a system caller that goes and calls FMMPEG that will automatically edit all of my videos that I capture in the cars based on GPS location to all the fun bits, right? And you can do that with FME. So back to the idea that you can use FME for anything, absolutely. But like anything, everything requires a process to go through, understand the problem, understand the people that are part of that problem, and it's kind of cool. I think Angie's just said something now as well. The Locus and FME Challenge Lamborghini rides are on the Locus YouTube channel. A great laugh if you have a chance to check them out. Yeah, look, they really are good. And look, there's a trailer version, which, is pretty much just I call it the fun parts, the screaming parts in Fyong's example, right? Actually, I think everybody had shocking faces when we accelerated to 100, but really we're doing that, and we're also interviewing our great customers on, what they do and how they utilize FME and what a difference it's made to them. So it's definitely worth watching. And I think that's pretty much, unless we've got any other questions. And Pep, can you think of anything? Is there anything you'd like? No problems, Fyong. Is there anything you'd like to maybe pass on there?
No, not really.
No, okay. Pep's a little bit more quiet than me. Obviously, clearly, I like to talk, right?
Got the talking
is there anything else I'd like to say? Well, look, good luck to everybody. I hope that you get lots of cool stuff, from this event in all the different sessions. There's a lot of people, really sharing their technical expertise in, the different projects that they've been able to do. Honestly, you learn so much by watching what other people do, right? Don't go it alone. It's either talk to us or talk to friends and other people that use it, and will help. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, Simon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll say goodbye now. Thanks, folks.
Bye.